Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Education Lady podcast. We'll be right back with this week's Wednesday Wisdom guest, but as always, we're going to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, don't hit that fast forward button. These are companies that I used as an AED. They're all great companies. I highly recommend that you check them out. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. Here we go. We want to say thanks to our good friends at Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, check out their great products, and schedule a live web demo. Probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com, check out the score tables and their video boards on that demo. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We also want to thank our friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an athletic director, I made sure that our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the tools that Huddle provided. Our student athletes loved the videos, and our parents loved the streaming, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, join the 8 million users, and find out all the ways that you should turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We also want to thank our friends at Snap Mobile. Now, Snap Raise is a fundraising platform, and if you've ever used a fundraiser and then been disappointed in the results, you need to check out Snap Raise. We used it at our school with great success. Our coaches loved it, our parents loved it, and it works. Go to Snap Raise. You can check out their other great platforms. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's snapraise.com. We want to thank our friends at Home Campus. Now, Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day for things like scheduling, rosters, and results. For me, the athletic clearance and eligibility platform alone is incredible. You got to see it to believe it. Go to homecampus.com. Don't forget to mention the podcast and see what they can do for you. That's homecampus.com. We also want to thank our friends at Gipper. Go to gipper.com, and their team will have you creating world-class content for your school's social media channel in seconds. Whether it's a quick post to celebrate a victory or an entire newsletter to showcase all the great things that your school's doing in the community, the team at Gipper is going to have you up and running in no time. It's professional graphic design made easy. Go to gipper.com. Make sure you mention the podcast. That's gipper.com. We want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards or show off your school's Hall of Fame, go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame and take a look at their interactive touch screen. That's right, touch screen video consoles. You put one of their units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be a magnet for kids, for coaches. How about teachers, sponsors, alumni? Go to Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Don't forget to mention the podcast. Check out their products. Again, you got to see it to believe it. VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. We want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, I didn't get my master's from Ohio, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others. And it was a great experience. It's very affordable, just 20 months, totally online. And you not only earn your master's degree, you also complete 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. We want to thank our good friends at Hometown. If you're not familiar with Hometown, it's not just online ticketing anymore. Hometown's changing the game with an entire suite of solutions that includes digital ticketing, but it also has things like fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more. Whether you're an athletic director, a head coach, or a school administrator, Hometown makes it easy for you and your school to save time, raise more money, and bring your entire community together. Go to hometown.com for more information. And we'd like to thank Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. At my school, we use surveys for everything: kids, coaches, parents. And the information that would come back on our surveys was almost always over the top positive. But it also allowed us to hear from those squeaky wheel parents and address their concerns before they turned into something big. But having all of that feedback, all of that positive feedback, was also incredibly valuable when you're visiting with a frustrated parent or maybe your principal or sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you take the pulse of everybody in your program. That's athleticsurveys.com. Welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We are going international today. We're going all the way down to Costa Rica, someplace I've always wanted to go. And we're going to be visiting with Gabby Cuevas. Gabby is a professional soccer player. She's also an entrepreneur. We're going to hear about all of that and more. But Gabby, welcome to Wednesday Wisdom.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well, again, very jealous about you being down there in Costa Rica. We want to give a shout out to our mutual friend Jenna Gibney from Gipper. She connected us.
hmm
She's been a great friend. She got me going with Gipper. But let's talk about you. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us that quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up, as we like to say, tell us your life story in 2 minutes. Maybe take us up through your college years, and then we'll kind of take a little break. But what's the Gabby Cuevas origin story?
All right. So shout out to Jenna. We've been best friends since we were 7, our first like travel team together. So it's only right that she connected us. But I grew up in Wayne, New Jersey, Jersey girl through and through. I went to the University of Connecticut or UConn for undergrad. I actually suffered 3 ACL injuries while I was there. Yeah, which is crazy. So it was my freshman, my sophomore, and my senior year. So I had 3 years of eligibility, or like, yeah, 3 redshirt years basically to continue. So I did 5 years at UConn. I graduated, and then I went to Monmouth University, which is a small D1 school in New Jersey, and I continued my career there. And I did grad school. I studied social work there. And then after I couldn't stop. I had to keep playing because I got all those years taken away from me. Everyone thought I was crazy, probably still thinks I'm a little crazy. Um, but soccer has just always been in my blood. It's been in my family, and my dad played, my brother played at Rutgers. So I just had to keep going for all of us, it felt like.
I want to hear more about that college experience, but let's go back before that. Soccer is one of those sports where you hear frequently, and it's boys and girls, that they play year round and they choose not to participate in other sports. What was your experience like in say junior high and high school? Was it just soccer or did you do other sports?
So I did other sports. I grew up kind of playing everything in, I would say more like in like elementary, middle school. We grew up on a lake, and in the summers it was really normal to like just go to the lake every day. They had like camps and different things. So I did like tennis camp there. I was on the swim team. Um, all of that. And then I danced also growing up. And then once I got into junior high, I was pretty much fixed on soccer and basketball. I absolutely loved playing basketball. I don't know if there was like less pressure in basketball or what, but I thought that's the route I was going to take. And I remember asking Jenna one day, like, should I just quit soccer and stick with basketball? Like, I think I'm so much better at basketball. And she's like, no, you're not. Stick with soccer. I was like, okay. So then up until my freshman year of high school, I played soccer and basketball. And then unfortunately, our high school was a very serious sports school. And if you were going to play high school basketball, you couldn't do other club sports. So I couldn't play club soccer and do high school basketball. And at that point, I was so much deeper in soccer than I was in basketball. So I had to let it go, unfortunately. But I think it's so important for athletes to do multiple sports and just like have fun with it. I think it makes you a more well-rounded athlete. And I was lucky that my parents were pretty much like, try everything, like see what sticks, see what you like. But soccer, it stuck.
Well, again, the athletic directors that are listening, there's big smiles on their faces. Here's a pro athlete saying play multiple sports. I got to ask about basketball. We're on Zoom here, so I don't see how tall you are. Were you that scrappy defender? Were you the 3-point shooting expert? What was your role on the basketball team?
I definitely wasn't a shooter. I was a passer. I think actually that's what helped me soccer and basketball is my vision. And I was a tough defender, super scrappy. I'm only 5'5", so I am small. But I was that like drive in, dish it out. I would take the fouls, pretty good on the foul line. But other than the other shooting, not so much. But yeah, I loved it so much. And I have such an appreciation for it. So going to UConn was definitely a joy to be able to watch those girls play.
Wow. Let's go and talk about your soccer experience. I mean, three ACL injuries. It had to be disheartening. How did you persevere through all of that to where now you're a professional athlete?
Yeah, disheartening is like, I think the nicest way to put it. It was really just a horrible experience. And yet I say I probably would have never changed it because I think it made me so much of who I am today. Um, how did I get through it? Luckily, I was surrounded by amazing people. Like I have amazing people in my life. My parents are the two most supportive, like best two people you can ever imagine. And so luckily they were there, they were there for the surgeries. They came every weekend to UConn, even though I wasn't playing. My mom was a huge advocate of like, okay, maybe soccer's not working. Like, what do you want to do outside of soccer? Let's find your interest like outside of soccer, which I think was really helpful. I like studied abroad for a semester. And I just noticed I love to travel. So then I ended up combining travel and soccer, later in my career. But um it just made me realize like how important your mentality needs to be and that like the mental side obviously affects the physical side. And so I would say like overall at baseline, I'm a very positive person. So going through all of these experiences really put my positivity to the test, we can say. But I'm just huge on like, focusing on little goals and like the positive things that come out of it. It made me such a stronger person. The people I met, like I was always in the training room, so I got to meet like all of the basketball girls and a lot of like the football guys and things like that. And that's cool. You get that camaraderie. And then my friends were just amazing. So I was very lucky to have a great group of people around me. And then it afforded me to go to grad school and get my master's for free. So I can't really complain too much about that.
You bring up such a great point. The mindset of the athlete, um, and I'll say sometimes. I'm not going to say frequently, but sometimes an athlete gets hurt and there's a disconnect between the athlete and the coaching staff because again the coaching
Mhm.
staff they got to worry about the other 23 people and
Right.
games and things like that. um, did you experience that, or were the coaches able to stay involved and kind of continue to coach and cheer you on during your rehab?
Yeah. So I think coaches do the best they can. It is really hard when you have so many people on a team that you have to manage. And I coached for in college for a little bit after I graduated, so I got to see that side of things. And my initial injury, I was the freshman that came in and was expected to be starting and playing. And so they were very much like, oh my God, we're going to take you on this away trip, even though you're hurt. And they were very much including me in everything, which is super amazing. And I felt part of the team. And then, over time, the recoveries are long months and they can't always give you that attention. And so I think as a player with any injury, you do feel like almost invisible sometimes to the coaches. And I don't think that that's something that is done deliberately and they're not trying to like hurt your feelings, but it's just something that natural that happens. And so my biggest advice for players is like find a way to still feel included with the team that you're doing on your own. So I ended up becoming the person that was like giving the pregame speech before games. And like a lot of the times I got super emotional because I was like, you guys don't understand what it's like to not be out there, like take advantage and enjoy it. And just giving that perspective of like, I don't care if you have to run 300s, like you should be grateful that you can run 300s. And then that turned into like, one girl on my team who has become my best friend has been like, tell me what I'm doing wrong. So like at halftime, as soon as she had come off the field, she was like, okay, what can I do better? And so then I felt like I was like giving my input and still being involved and still like close to the team. And the coach didn't have anything to do with that. Because it's hard. You can't manage the 11 girls on the field and then the 5 girls off the field and then the 1 girl that's hurt or the 4 girls that are hurt, whatever it is.
But at the same time, it sounds like that coach or those coaches recognized, wow, Gabby is really, taking charge here. And, as I listen to that, I'm saying, that's a future coach. That's a future athletic director. That's a leader right there.
We'll see.
Share with our listeners a little bit about your playing experience now in Costa Rica. We say that only 6% of high school students go on to play at college. The percentage that go on to play pro at any level is probably much less than that. So we don't know what it's like to be a professional athlete. What's your experience like in Costa Rica?
Yeah. Wow. I didn't know those numbers. That's very interesting. My experience has been amazing. I would say I'm more on like the veteran side of playing. I'm 31. So I've been playing for quite a bit. And here I think with playing abroad anywhere, you have to juggle like obviously the stuff that's going on the field and with the team, and then like your outside life. So going abroad can feel a little lonely. Luckily, I do speak Spanish, and my Spanish has only gotten better since being here. So that for me has been such a treat. And then obviously I'm in Costa Rica, like it's just beautiful here. It's amazing. Um, the nature and the culture and everything has been amazing. And the club that I'm at right now, while the I would say the female football in Costa Rica is struggling a little bit, I'm so grateful to be at a club that's really supportive of us and is doing everything that they can to push women's football forward. So my experience here has just been amazing.
Well, if you need an extra team manager to carry bags or something like that, I'm available.
All right, good to
I'll be
know.
expecting my ticket in the mail here. Okay.
Perfect.
Um, you are also one of the three founders of an organization called the Players Network. So I guess let's share a little bit about what the Players Network is, and then share, if you can, how it all came together. And, finally, I'm throwing a lot of things at you, why our listeners should care. And listeners, you should care. Okay.
You should care. Exactly. So I co-founded the Players Network with 2 of my friends, Brianne Reed and Samantha Rosette, both also professional soccer players. And one day we were all training at the same training facility and we were just kind of complaining about our agents and they're not doing anything for us and this is so unfair and like what players do naturally. And so we decided like why can't we just help each other? We have played in so many different countries. We have friends of friends of friends that like might be playing at a team that you want to go play at, and why don't we just start helping players that are struggling find these teams? So that's kind of what it started as. It was like almost like an agency without the agents, I would say. And then now it's kind of grown into this like information slash resource hub for players that are looking to start their professional career or in their professional career. So we do webinars for colleges where we basically show players what it's like to be a pro, how to get there, how to find an agent, what questions to ask, basically giving like the pros and cons of being a professional. Like, is this something that you really want to do? And these are the expectations. Obviously Instagram and social media can make everything look very amazing and it is a highlight reel, but it's not always like that. So we give the realities of that, and then it's like, okay, if you do want to do this, like, let's get you started. Um, we have a group chat on WhatsApp of like close to 500 players that the girls are just constantly writing in there like, hey, does someone know how to get an apartment in France, or can someone help me with what to ask this agent, and just whatever it is. It's just constantly going. And it's players of all different levels that are just starting their career or have been playing for 10 years. And we just find that like creating this community has been so helpful because it does make the process feel less alone. And that's what I would have wanted when I started my career. And so it's so nice that these girls who are starting their career can get that. And then from there, we kind of are just seeing like what are the needs of our community and how can we help them. Girls, a lot of girls are looking for side jobs. So it's like, okay, how can we help you find a side job, but that still allows you to focus on your playing because we're not making, much money as these professional soccer players. We call ourselves the like non one percenters, because we are the names that people don't know, but we're still playing professionally. It's still our career. It's still how we make money. Um, Another thing that players look for is like mental health resources. And it's like, okay, how can we find a mental health resource that's going to help you, that's not breaking the bank, but that's actually going to be helpful for you? So that's where we are now. I feel like every day we come up with like a different direction that we can go in. But I think we've been really helpful to our community, and it's just growing and growing, which is very, very exciting.
And again, you mentioned the various countries. You yourself, I mean, you played in, I think it was Israel, Finland, Poland. Did I leave anything
Yeah.
out? I'm sure there was some
No,
others.
and the
Uh,
US, you got it.
yeah. So, what? I've got a ton of questions here, and I know we don't have a lot of time. Are you doing anything? Does the Players Network uh, work with players from the United States? I know there's a couple of pro soccer levels. Are you involved, affiliated, networked with either of those groups?
Yeah, we have a lot of girls that play on the teams, mainly from the USL Super League, which is the new league that started in the US. Um, we have a lot of girls from that league that are in our network, which is amazing. Actually, our co-founder Sam plays for Brooklyn FC. She's the captain there. So she's been like our pioneer in that league. But yeah, pretty all of our girls, I would say for the most part, are based from the US, and it's really helping them navigate either professional life in the US, pretty much abroad, because going abroad is just such a different ball game. It's like, you don't know who's picking you up from the airport. It's just so many mysteries when you go abroad, but you kind of just trust the process. But yeah, we're trying to get more affiliated with like the semi-pro leagues, just to get connected to them so that we can help their players before they reach going pro.
Again, a million questions. Um, for and you talked about the language. Language can be a barrier, I think, particularly for
Yeah.
Americans. I know it would be for me. Um, we know with student athletes, high school and college, they're playing for the school, but they have the rest of their life. There's
Yeah.
academics, their personal life, et cetera. And the same with a professional athlete. You have your training, you have your games, but then you have, you got to live. Um,
Yeah.
from the soccer perspective, if a language barrier exists, somebody doesn't speak French or Spanish, is that fairly easily navigated? Because again, it's soccer, or are there some unique things that have come up that defy translation? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And it really varies like country by country, club by club. So there are some countries that pretty much anywhere you go, people speak English, which is great. Like Finland was that country for me. I was in a small city 4 hours from the capital, but the main language in the capital was English because they have so many internationals that live in Helsinki. Um But yeah, for the most part, like everyone on my team knew English. They were very shy to speak English, which is different. But if you asked them a question, they kind of knew, what you were asking. And then you have countries like Poland where you speak English and they're looking at you like, why are you speaking to me in any other language other than Polish? Which is also very fair. I'm in your country. I should be
Sure.
trying to speak your language. Um, but you do have to like try and pick up some things. I think if someone is trying to speak that language, you are perceived so much better than if you just are trying to speak English. So there's like so many funny stories that come up of players like in Poland. I think one time I was trying to say like good ball and I said good balls, and it became like the inside joke of the team of like, that I don't know what I'm talking about, whatever, which was fine. It's like a way for us to bond. Um, but it is complicated. But normally if you go to a team that the coach doesn't speak English, no one speaks English, there's probably one girl on the team that can translate for you. And then luckily, when you do get into soccer and you're on the field, you can understand like, okay, this is where I should be position wise. Like, I can kind of see the drill because they're like showing what we need to do. So I think soccer is probably a language in its own that like is universal, which is nice. But yeah, you definitely pick some things up
Hmm.
along the way.
It's the beautiful game, right? Yeah.
It is the
Yeah.
beautiful game.
All right. Last soccer question. You played, obviously, elite high school player, Division I player. Now you're a pro. I'm a big moments guy. What's your
Hmm.
big favorite moment as a professional soccer player? Was it that great goal? Was it a defensive play? Was it that you talked about basketball? You're a great distributor. Was that great pass? What's your signature play right now? Because your career's still going.
Yeah. Um, oh, that's such a good question. So I also play for the Dominican Republic national team. And we were playing the qualifying games for the Gold Cup, which is like a major tournament in the US. And it was the first time they were doing it for the women's side. And, we're not a big soccer country. And so our team, we had lost our first game and we had to win this game in order to make it through. And it wasn't like a specific play, but we were up 1-0, and then in like the 80th minute, maybe like the 88th minute or something, we scored that second goal to like really solidify the win. And Bree, the other co-founder of the Players Network, is my other center back, so we play there together. And once that goal hit the back of the net, fireworks just went off, and it was like, oh my God, we did it. And that moment for me, we hugged each other. We didn't even celebrate the goal. We hugged each other and we were like, we did it. Like, we're going to the Gold Cup. Um, and that for me was an incredible moment. And then it led us to the Gold Cup where we played against the US and Mexico and Argentina, which are like three major teams. So that for me was like it's the moment I've been really holding on to.
All right. What year was that? I'm going to date you here.
That was last year.
Oh, so that'd be
Uh
2024. Okay.
2024.
I'm gonna go to YouTube. I'm gonna try to find that video. I
Oh,
was
I
getting
wonder, I don't
goosebumps.
know if you'll be able to find it, but it was like
Uh,
my memory is so bad, and
uh,
that is something that is stuck in my memory, those fireworks going off.
I'm getting goosebumps just listening to it. Um, the Players Network. If our listeners wanted to find out more, if they wanted to support, what's the best way that they can do that? We want websites, emails, phone numbers, whatever you want to give out.
Yeah. So we are very active on Instagram. So I would say that's the best way to go and support us. Go follow us. We're always posting on there, Players Network _. And we also have a podcast as well, the Players Network podcast. And we actually just put out an episode today. We put one out the first Wednesday of every month. And it's usually just telling a story of a player in our network, just putting their voice out there at different topics. It's really just like chatting, just letting all the stories come out. The biggest thing that we are working on right now that we want everyone to know about is we are putting together a combine or a showcase for the players in our network. So it's a 2-day event. in June in Richmond, Virginia, where we're inviting recruiters, agents, club managers, coaches, anybody that has a team, basically, or connections to a team, to come scout these players and to hopefully get them signed. So with that, we're also looking for any type of sponsorship, whether that be like a partnership or monetary or some sort of goods. We're always looking for something. So anybody listening that wants to help us out, we can speak further. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
All right. I'm going to send all that stuff on to our great sponsors. So
Amazing.
hopefully somebody will reach out. Gabby, thanks so much for coming on. I know you're incredibly busy with training and everything else, but we appreciate you coming on, sharing a little bit about your story and the Players Network. We're definitely going to bring you back. We want to help this organization grow, help you grow, and all the women that you're working with. So thanks again for coming on.
Amazing. Thank you for having me.
For listeners, we want to say thanks to you and remind you that we do Wednesday Wisdom every single week and just about every day. We try to share stories from the world of athletics along with some best practices. So come back and join us next week for another episode of Wednesday Wisdom just about every day for the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Once again, that was Gabby Cuevas with the Players Network. Check it out. And follow them on social media. They're going to have a big player combine, as you heard, in Virginia. See what you can do to support the Players Network. See what you're going to do to support our sponsors. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can see them, but if you're listening to it, Gipper. That's Gipper.com. You need to go visit every single one of these sponsors. Vital Signs Wall of Fame. That's VitalSignsWallOfFame.com. K12 Sports Tech. K12SportsTech.com. Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. That's athleticsurveys.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards, sidelineinteractive.com. Home Campus, that's homecampus.com. SnapRaise, snapraise.com. Huddle, huddle.com, big surprise. The Ohio University or Ohio University, their online masters in athletic administration, and Hometown. You'll find them at hometown.com. As always, we appreciate you listening. Come back for the next episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast.